So I wanted to do a best of 2021 games video, and then I realized that I didn't really play a whole ton of new games last year. So now I'm just going to talk about the games that I played and kind of rank them. I have a top 5, but I also have an honorable mentions list, so I guess I'll start there. I spent most of 2021, if I was playing games, either replaying old games or going through my to-do list, basically, of other games that I have, completing games, stuff like that. So 2021, I think the game that I probably played the most was finishing Persona 5 Royal from 2020. I'd say I played the first half in 2020 and then the other half in 2021, and I finished it the same day that Resident Evil 8 came out. But as for games that actually came out in 2021, the first honorable mention would be Hitman 3, which I did not play until recently, maybe November, and there's not a whole ton to talk about here. I haven't finished it yet, but it's more of Hitman from the 2016 game, and then Hitman 2. Each one kind of builds on the last one, so it's not like a spectacularly new experience each time. So Hitman 3 was Hitman 3. This one, I don't know if I was even gonna consider talking about, but you know what? It came out this year, and it was the first year that I played it, so it counts. They released the Silver Case and the 25th Ward as a collection on the Nintendo Switch. The Silver Case is from 1998, and these were released in I want to say 2018 or something like that on PS4. But I picked up the Switch version that came out this year, so it counts, damn it. I've had a lot of fun with these. The Silver Case is instantly now one of my favorite visual novels. I thought it was great. The presentation's great. It's got one of the best soundtracks in a visual novel. I absolutely loved that. And the 25th Ward, I'm on the last chapter of it right now, but it's still really good. I don't think it's as good as the Silver Case. It's way heavier. I find myself going, wait, what just happened? In this one, way more than the Silver Case. So it's a lot more it's classic Suda 51 in a way, but it's also more what the hell are you talking about, Suda? And the soundtrack in the 25th Ward is just as good as the Silver Case. And this one's maybe even better because it's got Akira Yamaoka doing some songs. Masafumi Takada, who did the No More Heroes soundtrack, is also on there. He did the first Silver Case. But yeah, a really good game. I really loved playing through both of those, and I wish that they would make a new one. Now, the next one, which I think is the last of the honorable mentions, where it's this doesn't really count, so I didn't put it on the top 5 list or whatever, would be Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I had fun playing it. I haven't replayed the Mass Effect games since I Let's Played them on this channel. And, I fell in love with Mass Effect 1 again. I stopped playing right at the end of Mass Effect 2. I need to finish that and then do 3. But, yeah, I mean, it's just Mass Effect. There's not really much else to say there. I loved playing around with photo mode, even though it was incredibly limited and there wasn't a whole lot of options. It was still fun to try and get pictures, taken in that kind of limited space there. So for the actual top 5 now, these are the rest of the games that I played this year that came out this year. Was Nier Replicant, which is they've been very cagey about this. It's not quite a remake of the original Nier, but it's not just a remaster either. They kept using the phrase version up, which still doesn't really clarify a whole lot of anything at all. So as far as I'm concerned, it's an enhanced remaster of the original Nier, which is one of the most unique games ever. I played the original Nier on PS3, and this version's really good. It looks way better. I feel like it plays much better. and instead of it being Papa Nier, it's Brother Nier, which is an interesting thing to go back and replay it kind of in a different context. Papa Nier was always there to appeal to Western players, which I always thought was weird, and I think Brother Nier works better, personally. So I'm enjoying seeing it how it was like originally supposed to be played, and how the story was originally supposed to be done. I'm a huge fan of Nier Automata. I think it's like one of the best games ever made. One of the best like stories, one of the best like meanings in games. And it doesn't really come close to Nier Automata. They got some of, I think, the Platinum people to assist with like the gameplay to make it feel more in line with Automata. But, you know, it's still clearly the original Nier. And that's good. You know, they redid the soundtrack, which is great. But yeah, it's just kind of a enhanced remaster of the original Nier, and really, what more could you ask for? The next one, I guess number 4, if I'm like really ranking these, would be Metroid Dread, which is a very cool game, and a game that I honestly never thought we'd ever see. You know, a true 2D Metroid game. Now, I've said this in the past before, I liked Other M. I thought Other M was fine. I don't think it deserves all the hate that it gets. I understand why people don't like it, but I've always been very amused by that game. I always enjoyed playing it, and I enjoyed the cutscenes in that game, even though I will admit, you know, characterization of Samus and stuff like that is not very good. But I enjoyed the game, and having like an actual sequel to Metroid Fusion is just still mind-blowing. And I think they absolutely blew it out of the water with this game. It's one of the best controlling games of all time. All the combat and the movement is so satisfying in this game. It's one of the best playing like 2D games, not just in a like Metroidvania context, but just overall. It's really, really good. I love the focus on the story. I love that there were kind of cutscenes in this game. Cutscenes are always something that's like, again, I said this before, but if you put a cutscene in a game and it's even somewhat engaging, it's like dangling peas in front of a toddler for me, because I'll just always enjoy it. So I've been really enjoying that game. That game is really great. I also think it's the right amount of difficult. I've seen a lot of people say that it's really hard. But I think it's just the right amount of, like, you're going to die a couple times before you realize, oh, this is how I have to fight this guy. So I think that's been really rewarding, playing through that and, like, figuring out how the bosses work in real time. Instead of, you know, playing, like, Super Metroid, which has been around for 30 years, and knowing, oh, this is how you kill this guy. Because I know that, because this game's been around. So playing it, like, the day it came out and figuring things out on your own was really, really fun. You know, not having a guide to look up because the game's so fresh was really, really fun and satisfying. So Metroid Dread was really cool. I really enjoyed it. Number 3, this one is again technically cheating because it didn't really come out this year, but it did, and I'm counting it, so screw you, is Death Stranding Director's Cut. Death Stranding is one of my favorite games of the recent, like, couple of years. One of the most unique games. I love it. 2020 was the year that I really, like, right when the pandemic started, I sat down and I played Death Stranding to 100% completion. I platinumed the game. I did literally everything that there is to possibly do in that game. And the Director's Cut is a enhanced version of that original experience. It looks way better. It performs at 60 frames a second. There's a widescreen mode that is like, I literally cannot play the game without the widescreen now. It looks so much better. Having the like full reign of like looking at things to your side instead of being like way more zoomed in, I think looks really, really good. If you haven't played Death Stranding, I would say this is probably the best way to experience it, because there's some quality of life things in here that I think would make a first-time player a little bit more, like, welcome to play it. Because, you know, this game is not for everybody. but I think things in the director's cut definitely helped like the first timer experience. There's new items, there's new weapons. There are new missions in here that I never got to experience because they were PC only. Like the Half-Life and Cyberpunk missions are pretty cool. There's brand new missions that I won't spoil that are really fun. It's a damn good game. It's a game that I already thought was like a 10 out of 10 game that they made a lot of really nice improvements to that I really enjoyed a whole lot. So if you have not played Death Stranding or were like, ooh, this doesn't look like it's right for me, or if you played it and were like, I can't get into this, I would recommend trying it again with the director's cut. This is a game that I very firmly believe in. I love this game, and I want more people to appreciate it, so please play this game. The next one, number 2, is probably not very surprising. Or maybe it is. Maybe it is surprising that it's not number 1. But Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 8, is a damn good game. I bet I don't even need to tell anybody that. Resident Evil 8 is really good. It's a solid game that I never ever want to play again. I played it probably like 5 or 6 times right when it came out, like in a row. Like the whole like 2 months after that game came out, that was all that I played. Just like with Resident Evil 7, 2 Remake, and 3 Remake, I platinumed all those games. I went into this game with the intention of platinuming this too, but the Mercenaries mode in this game really sucks a lot. It plays more like raid mode from the Revelations games, which I love. I love raid mode. So, first off, I think they should have called it raid mode instead of Mercenaries. But there is a trophy that I know I will never ever be able to get in this game. That basically means you have to S rank or S plus rank every single level in the Mercenaries, and I literally cannot do it. I absolutely cannot do it. I am not good enough at this game to get that, and that's the only trophy that is standing in my way of a platinum of this game, and I know I'll never get it unless I want to spend tens of hours replaying the same levels over and over and over again. I've gotten maybe half of them S ranked, but I know that I can't do it, and I don't have the patience, and quite frankly I don't think the Mercenaries is that fun that I even want to be doing it in the first place. So there's always going to be, until I finally do that, this blight on this game, where I'm like, yeah, it was a really fun experience, but I can't platinum it, so fuck that game. And that's not, like, I don't even care about trophies, I just wanted to be able to do that for all the, like, new Resident Evil games, and I've been able to do it with the past 3, no problem. But this one, they just really screwed up. They need to, like, patch that trophy to make it like, oh, you just need to get A ranks, which is so much easier to do. So that's, like, my one big qualm with that game. I think the story is great. It's got some of the best characters that have ever been introduced into the series. It's a great follow-up to Resident Evil 7. I'm assuming, I don't know why I'm acting coy, that will be the next game that I play on this channel. I've already recorded it, it's all already uploaded, so you'll get more of my thoughts on that game when that Let's Play comes out, I think next month. And then number 1 is No More Heroes 3. This is another one of those like Metroid Dread where I was like, this game is never going to happen. No More Heroes 2 came out in 2010. It's been 11 years since that game came out. I'm not counting Travis Strikes Again, even though that is a fantastic game in its own right, but No More Heroes 3 is a true return to form. I think it is just as good as the first game. There are some things that it does very differently, like the fact that there are technically no levels in the game. I thought was really interesting. It kind of let the game be more focused, and like it was annoying me at first, but then when you really think about it, the levels were never really that good in the first place. Like, there are some highlights, but those were always kind of the worst part of the game. So just having the ability to fight some enemies and then fight a boss, I think is much better. It allowed the open world to be a little bit more connected. The open world was really fun, and how different each part of it felt The soundtrack is like a 10 out of 10. It's one of the best soundtracks I've heard in a really long time. It's just a great game. It's one of the best action games I've played in a very long time, and it was one of the few games that I just had pure fun with. There was really nothing in there that I was like, this is dumb, I hate this. This was pure fun all the way through. I love the story, I love the presentation of it. You know, I really, this was like a great send-off to this series, which I'm assuming it's going to be, because they've said this is going to be the last one. And unlike some, you know, game companies or creators, I believe them. I think maybe somewhere down the line they'll revisit the characters, but I think this is probably going to be the last No More Heroes game. This is one of my favorite types of games. One where, like, the open world feels like anything can happen in it. Like, there's so many parts in this game where I played it and was just like, oh, you go around a corner, there's a guy, oh, talk to him, he gives you like a quest. That's weird, I didn't expect that. You know, returning characters from Travis Strikes Again just pop up in the game world and you have to find them. There's a lot of collectibles, there's a lot of fun, like, new shirts. I think No More Heroes 3 is a really, really fantastic game, and I'm still, like, over the moon that we even got it in the first place. Like, I genuinely can't believe that in the last couple years we've been getting some games that I really never thought we'd ever see. Like Devil May Cry 5 was one of those that was like, the 4 came out in like 2008, and then that came out in 2019. That was 11 years, just like this one. And now we have No More Heroes 3. That's crazy. The next game like that I'm very excited for is obviously Bayonetta 3. We'll see if that takes 9 years too. It probably will by the time that comes out, honestly. It'll probably be about like 8 or 9 years since Bayonetta 2, which is insane. But yeah, that's basically my games of the year. I think it was a pretty good year for games. I think 2019 and 2020 were probably a little bit more solid. But then again, you know, the pandemic obviously got in the way of a lot of games development, obviously. And I'm not going to fault anyone for that. I think everyone did the best with what they could do, and it was a pretty solid year for games. Not as great as the last couple, but, you know, I don't even know what I'm looking forward to this year in 2022. There's that new Kirby game. I can't really think of much else. They haven't really shown a lot. Who knows when Bayonetta 3 is going to come out. Like I said, it could come out this year, could come out next year. Spider-Man 2 comes out next year. I don't really know what there is to be excited about for this year, actually. You know, I have games that I want to play that are in my backlog, but that doesn't count. So I don't honestly know what is on the horizon for 2022. Kind of a weird little dead zone right now where we don't really know too much about, like, games that are coming out. At least for me. I know that there's games like Horizon that I really don't care about. I guess Elden Ring is like the next big one, but I'll probably jump on that one a little bit late. I don't know if I'll play that when it comes out, but, you know, whatever. So that's the list of games that I played last year. Like I said, Resident Evil 8 is coming up very soon on this channel. I got another one that I'm working on right now that I'm very excited about. One that I've promised over and over and over again that, you know, we'll see. I'm more than halfway done, I think, filming that one right now. And then from there, I think I want to finish a lot of old games that I started but never finished. I've mentioned this before, but I'm replaying Jedi Fallen Order because I want to re-record the ending of that because I lost all that footage. I want to finish Attack on Titan 2. In fact, I already recorded all of that. I just don't know when to do that. I'd love to go back to Ace Attorney and finish that one off. I only have like one substantial case left in that game, so I think that would be fun to revisit. There was another one that I wanted to revisit also, but I don't remember what it was. If you have any suggestions, games that I never finished, you know, that you'd like to see me revisit, let me know. You know, as always, let me know what your favorite games of last year were, whether you played them for the first time or they came out last year, just let me know. I always like seeing what other people are doing. So thank you for watching. Happy New Year, and I'll see you in Resident Evil 8.